Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, Devin Halpin here with the Provo High School Marching Band. This is a pre-recording of our slideshow for our meeting tonight, May 10th, from 6 to 8 p.m. in the Provo High School Commons. This is for folks who may not be able to attend or want to go back and check information afterwards. This first image right here is a picture of our lovely football stadium, but also of the QR code for the band signups. Parents and students, please take a moment to scan the code and get your students signed up with contact information. This is emails and phone numbers for both the student as well as the best parent or guardian to contact during the season. With the amount of stuff we do, it's going to be really critical to make sure that we have an accurate point of communication. Moving on. Sorry, I clicked the wrong button. Moving on. Why do marching band? Marching band is a co-curricular activity, which means it's part activity after school, but also part daytime course. If you're a percussionist in the front ensemble or the drum line, you're going to enroll in the 4B advanced percussion class. If you're a woodwind, brass, or color guard member, you'll sign up for the 4A wind symphony course. 4B wind symphony course, as it shows on screen. My apologies for misspeaking. These classes fit the curricular part. Our after school rehearsals are the activity part, where we get out on South Field, like you see over here in the middle of a rainstorm, actually, and where we rehearse our content for the day. Marching band is sanctioned by UHSAA through UMEA, the Utah Music Educators Association, which means that the performance standards are completely in harmony with the Utah Music Education standards. For adjudication, for travel, for eligibility, it all aligns so it fits in with the concert band standards as well as the jazz band standards and so on. I think the biggest benefit of marching band is the hundreds of hours of rigorous training. I give a slight breakdown. Based on the calendar for this year, students can expect to do 70 plus hours of band camp, 30 hours of stadium rehearsal, 20 hours of home performances, and 50 hours of regular rehearsal, which adds up to about 13 weeks of immense musical growth and another 25 some odd hours of performance day opportunities. I could do an entire TED Talk slideshow presentation with the non-curricular values. These are the soft skills, the intangibles, the people skills that make marching band kids some of the greatest kids to be around. Kids learn time management, body awareness, social awareness. They grow character traits. They develop problem-solving skills. And really, it's an embodiment of the core values at Provo High School of inclusion, excellence, and integrity. Here's pictures of some of our students and some of our staff. Parents, we need you. There are numerous opportunities throughout the season for parents to contribute time, money, and means to support the band. During the season, you'll receive a weekly email from me with information about the calendar, schedule, and any events or needs that are coming up. The picture on the side over here is two of the band dads. I call them the speaker dads because for so many of the competitions, they would show up and they would push our speakers into position and help us get ready for our performance. I lost my mouse. There we go. Volunteer opportunities. There's numerous. The big one that we'll talk about at our in-person meeting is fundraising. We had to raise the band fee this year because of the increased costs that we're facing as a band. More than just taking more of your money, we need the parents and families to advertise. I personally am an import to Utah, and many of our staff are either also imports to Utah or new to the Provo community. We don't have the social connections that so many of you, the community, have. And so simply just getting word out and about. I would rather ask 10,000 people for $1 than ask one person for $10,000. And by all means, if you have the means and the motivation to participate or to buy products as well, we really appreciate that. But the most underutilized value that the parents have is in advertising and reaching out to the communities. Right. The next one down here is meals. You might be wondering, why is there a picture of a giant taco on meals? Because one of our favorite band dads would wear a giant taco hat to many of the competitions or football games as he served and prepared food for us. I'd like to broaden that spectrum across the band and give more parents more opportunities to help out, to help share the load, to make sure that our students are fed at a high level, more than I can do on my own. Whether you have the time and the skills to prepare food, to serve food, or to even like prepare and donate food. Like if you just bring a crock pot of sloppy Joe mix that you've prepared, that saves us time and money, and after a long day of getting ready for a show, a nice sloppy Joe is very nice. Or tacos or whatever else people come up with. There's lots of opportunities to help these kids out. Early on in the season in particular, but also as we get ready for state finals, I need help with uniforms. Getting them checked and repaired. Some of the kids have grown and they don't know exactly how their clothes should fit, so helping them know how to fit, and then adjusting uniforms as needed. And then, like the picture you saw on the last slide of pushing on for performances, there's a lot of gear and props that we have to move, and we need help and hands getting those moved to and from the performance venues. Students, this is a quick reminder. Go back to that QR code. Make sure you've got your information correct. I'll send a series of emails either tonight or later this week, as well as around mini camp, and then again over the summer. And if you're not getting those, we need to make sure to get you added to the email list to make sure we have the correct one. It'd be a shame to miss an awesome opportunity because you didn't get the email. The biggest one, though, is to make sure to monitor your email regularly during the season. I don't expect folks to respond to emails at 10 o'clock at night, and I'm trying to be better about not sending them at 10 o'clock at night. But make sure you're checking them at a regular, responsible interval. And speaking of communications, big announcement. Band is moving to Discord. Discord is a communication app similar to GroupMe, but it's a little more user friendly and allows me as a director more controls to moderate content, as well as to help our band community be more connected. With GroupMe, many of our different conversations would get segmented, and it would leave people out. Whether they wanted to be left out, whether they were unintentionally left out, or intentionally left out. Whereas with Discord, the Provo Band Discord is open to all current students, whether they be concert band students, marching band, jazz band, indoor percussion, winter guard. All those different opportunities allow people to be included, as well as parents, and including opportunities for you to see directly live streams of our shows and to get other information that's also available on your mobile device. You don't have to get it in an email. It's a one-stop shop, and the biggest thing is that it's free, and you can get it on Apple, Android, desktop, tablets. It's very available. This function, I discovered it through the Provo High Esports program, and I've seen its use there, both in terms of sharing content with students with us, and then also as a director moderating content. I found Discord to be much more manageable in that department. So, moving on, I want to introduce some of our student leaders. First up is Mackenzie Wages. Mackenzie is a great friend, as clearly denoted by the number of friends here in our picture, but also, if you get to know her, you'll see it. Mackenzie is the wonderful young lady over here in the dress, the hair over here on the side, as well as up front in this picture of friends all dressed up at, I believe that's the banquet at State. Wasn't even a banquet, we went to Golden Corral and they all got dressed up. Mackenzie is a mellophone player. She's also a basketball player. Her last season got cut short due to an injury, but I'll let Mackenzie tell more of her story. Make sure you take the time to get to meet her. And then up next is Rowan. Rowan is a multifaceted student performer on flute and vibraphone and color guard and winter guard and indoor percussion and crash cymbals. And then in Wind Symphony, they've been an oboe player the last 3 years. So very multifaceted. Rowan will be missing some of our summer stuff due to their position with Battalion Drum and Bugle Corps this summer in the color guard. But likewise, I'll let Rowan tell more of their story. Make sure you get to know them too. Rowan and Mackenzie, congratulations on being our phenomenal drum majors. Up next is our battery captain, Davey Chow. Davey, I put a typo right in there. I'm sorry, Davey. Davey is a highly experienced percussionist with multiple seasons under his belt on synthesizer and vibraphone, marimba, bass drum. In addition to his music endeavors, he's a great student, and he's a member of the Provo High Pro Start Foods team. Davey will be our battery captain. And then up front with the percussion will be Parker Bayless. Parker, again, he's a great friend, a goofy guy who you can always rely on to have a good time. He's got a great story. I'll let him tell it. Make sure you get a chance to meet him. The guy with the glasses and the strong love of marimba, Parker Bayless. The other leaders have not been decided yet. I realize there might be uneasiness about that, but I want to make sure I'm confident about my decisions before I announce it. And so I or the staff member in charge of those areas will announce that when will announce additional leaders when those decisions have been made. Moving from the students to our design team. First up is Peter Bates. Peter does visual, drill, and movement for our school. He was born in North Carolina, but raised in Utah, where he's had 10 plus years of experience with marching band at American Fork High School, Phantom Regiment Drum and Bugle Corps, Matrix Indoor Percussion. He's the visual instructor for Boston Crusaders, does lighting and video with Matrix. He's written drill for BOA finalists, regional finalists, and this is his 7th year working with Provo High School. We're really lucky to have Peter and proud to have him at Provo High School. Oh. Up next is Carrie Clark. She's been our color guard director for the last several years, and with the birth of her second child on the horizon, she's taking a step back, but she'll be continuing with us on the design team as our choreographer. Carrie has written some literally best in state choreography for the last several years, and we want to do everything we can to help her be successful in this department, as well as helping our color guard be successful. She's got a wonderful family and a wonderful love for our color guard kids, and we're so glad to have her. And then rounding out our design team is Bradley Sampson. He's the composer, arranger, sound designer. He and I go way back to our time in the BYU marching band in I'm dating myself, 2013. That's 10 years ago. We also play together in the Utah Premier Brass, but Bradley's got his horn performance degree from University of Utah back in 2021. He has a wide drum corps knowledge with the Troopers Drum and Bugle Corps, as well as Battalion, Cascades, and Columbians. And I'm biased because I know him and I work with him, but he's one of the most in-demand composers and arrangers in the state of Utah right now. He's made himself indispensable for so many programs because he does music and education at such a high level. Quick little mini rant. My favorite thing is he approaches the music and the competition and the writing as a teacher who writes. What are the kids going to learn? Are they going to develop these skills? Will they perform at a high level? Not just to win, but to help the kids develop as performers and musicians. I'm glad to have Brad. And then I, the director, round out that design team. Here's pictures of my time in high school in the middle, tension. And then my time teaching in the woods at Blue Lake, as well as my time at Missouri State. I was born in Michigan, raised in Missouri. I marched the Memphis Sound Drum and Bugle Corps. It's a picture of me from almost 20 years ago. I went to Missouri State, as well as Brigham Young University. I taught in California for 4 years, and this is my third, going into my 4th year at Provo High. As the director, my job is to oversee and coordinate the efforts between the design team, as well as the instruction team, I'm about to introduce them, as well as student leadership and other logistical things that we need. Other instructors, Justin Taylor, he'll be the battery or the drumline teacher. He's been the director for Provo City Indoor Percussion the last couple seasons, and he also teaches social studies at Orem Junior High. He's from Indiana. I give him grief about that sometimes because I'm just from the better state in the Midwest, aka Michigan. Glove love. But love Justin, glad he's out here. He's really helped take our percussion squad to new heights. And then his roommate and partner in percussion crime is Gabe Scott with the front ensemble. Gabe Scott is a 2017 graduate from West Jordan High School and a staff member at Copper Hills back in 2020, and he's been at Provo High ever since, starting back in 2021. We're glad to have him in his experience here at Provo High School. A new staff member joining us this year is Caio Laucas. He was born in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, with a wide, high-caliber experience in music performance and education with various groups like the Blue Stars and Battalion and Academy. We're glad to have Caio at Provo High School. Make sure if you're in person, you get a chance to meet him today. He'll be touring with Academy this summer, so we'll miss him a little bit until we get into our regular season, but we're excited to have Caio on staff with us this year. Up next is Elsa Wolfenden. Elsa is an alumni from Provo High School, where she has worked remarkably hard since her time as a student, but now as an instructor and a all-around awesome musician and visual performer, dating back to her time as a dance member of at Provo High School. And Elsa is a great people person, helping students reach their very best. Here's pictures of Elsa's time as a performer and an instructor. And up next, we have Paris King. Paris is coming back to us for, I think this is actually her 4th season now, between winter and fall. Paris and Carrie go way, way back. I'm glad to be able to keep this duo together as best we can. And I'm excited to see what Paris and Carrie will do with the color guard this year. But speaking of color guard, we are still actively hiring candidates for one more guard instructor, so that Paris is not by her lonesome at rehearsals. Interested in eligible candidates should apply at provo.applicantportal.com. Now, so that's a lot of the student leaders, the design team, as well as the instruction team. I want to get into like what the schedule of marching band is going to look like. The very first thing coming up is May mini camp. This is next weekend, May 19th and 20th. On Friday, we'll go 6 to 9. And then on Saturday, we'll go 9 to 5. We'll go over warm-ups, show music, principles of movement. We basically want to make sure that students have everything in their hands to practice over the summer. The effectiveness of our fall camp is determined by the effectiveness of students' practice between May and August. Up after that is summer band. I have intentionally compressed our summer band into, I believe it's a week and a couple days, to make sure that students have time to rest and to travel and things like that. But on June 26th and 27th, those are days for color guard and percussion, to come learn things that are specific for their areas. Then on June 28th, we'll have our newcomer day. This is only for folks that have never marched before, to learn how to march. And then the next day, Thursday and Friday, we'll meet as a full band, everybody 9 to 3, to get ready for the parade on Saturday. Then parade Saturday, July 1st. Then on Monday, July 3rd, we'll have one more rehearsal to get ready for the Freedom Festival the next day on July 4th. Both those parades are modest-sized parades that take about... the children's parade is shorter, takes maybe a half an hour to an hour. The Freedom Festival is a little bit longer of a march, but the hardest part is getting back afterwards and getting things unloaded. But this summer band experience is really important for our community, and that's why I'm giving students a $100 discount to their marching band fee for participating in summer band, because the community supports the band through this event, and I figure it's a way that the band can support the students who, again, kind of this everybody help each other, and we'll be better off if we work together. So we've got our mini camp, we've got summer band, and now we're at band camp. This is in the fall. This is July 31st through August 5th, Monday through Saturday. Kind of like summer band, I've compressed this together. It's now just 1 week of 6 days, so that students can be there every day. Barring extreme circumstances, this really should be non-negotiable. If everybody needs to be there as much as possible. It's going to be longer days, 9 to 9. You'll need to eat breakfast at home and bring a sack lunch. And going back to the parent volunteers from earlier, I'd like help getting dinners provided for the kids so they can enjoy some meals together as a group at the end of the day. But each day, kids should bring athletic clothes, durable shoes, sunscreen. Yes, bring sunscreen. I have been sunburned at band camp just like 2 years ago. Bring your instrument in good repair, a notebook for taking notes, a pencil for taking notes, as well as sunglasses and a hat. And then we get into the regular season. The regular season rehearsal schedule, we'll rehearse Tuesday after school, Wednesday after school, or 2:45 to 5 each day. And then on Fridays, this one's a little hazy because of different meeting schedules that I am contractually required to attend. And so Fridays may change a little week to week, but roughly plan on 2 to 5 on Fridays. Attendance. This is where I get to put on my mean band director hat. Everyone's got to be at band camp. Exceptions are on a case-by-case basis, but they need to be, as much as possible, kids need to be at band camp. Students during the regular season, if a student misses one rehearsal, they need to pass off before the performance on Friday or Saturday. If a student misses 2 rehearsals, Or if they miss a game on Friday before the contest on Saturday, they will be designated as non-performers until the following week. That means non-performers will not take the performance field. Non-performers are required to dress and attend and travel with the band. And here's the big kicker. Non-performers place their membership with the band and their travel eligibility to St. George at risk. There are incidences that may require a student to be a non-performer for 1 week. For example, I'll pick on one of our alumni. They got really sick and they missed an entire week of band because they were sick. And then when they came back, they technically came back right before performance. They weren't ready. They were still weak from being sick. And then they came back and they were present and worked hard and they were a member in good standing and they traveled to St. George and they crushed it. But if folks are blowing off band for work or homework or I'm tired, I'm not feeling it, we need to reevaluate priorities and make sure that students are present at rehearsal. I've worked really hard to make sure we have the staff in place to get as much as we can out of that limited time we have together. And band is very much a must be present to win. And so if we're going to win, we must be present. In that same thing, students should report absences to their caption head. So that's Gabe or Justin, Paris, Elsa, or Kaio. Work is not an excused absence. Work is something that you schedule in advance. Based on my part-time job experience, a lot of these places will post schedules 1 to 2 weeks in advance. They'll say, hey, tell me 2 weeks ahead what your schedule needs to be. And that means that students, especially those with jobs, need to report those in ahead of time. Likewise, vacations are not counted as an excused absence. If you're involved with other sports or activities, that's fine. But please make plans before the season about how to schedule practices, rehearsals, games, and performances. I will do my best to make sure you have a fair shot to participate in both activities. And this last one may sound mean, but I promise it's practical. Repeat medical absences, whether it's injury, illness, headache, sprained ankle, all those should be accompanied by a doctor's note. It's more so to make sure that you're safe and healthy before putting you back on the field. All right. If you followed the footnotes as we were going through that, we have an increased band fee this year. It's never popular, it's never easy, but based on the math, as I was looking at the projections for our season, it's what we needed to do to be able to continue doing what we have been. This is what needed to happen. And checking with other directors, we still have some of the lowest fees in the state of Utah. And I wanted it to more accurately reflect the price that it costs to put on the fall marching season that we do. To that end, I want to make sure that folks are able to pay for this. So we'll be having more individual fundraisers where students earn individual credit towards their student account. And likewise, students that are on fee waiver will also be required to fundraise to make sure that we're able to meet that price tag that we have of carrying out our season. Here's a quick breakdown of the fees. If you look on the school district's website, you'll see all of this information, but I wanted to kind of clarify some things in case you had a question from the website. A tour is for the out-of-state 3+ day trip. That's not something we're doing this year. We are still going to state. That's baked into that $700 fee. But the tour, that's like when the jazz band went to New York City 2 years ago. So that's a different fee. Shirts. Students will receive their first shirt for free because that's part of their performance uniform. However, we definitely encourage parents, friends, cousins, sisters to buy shirts for $25. That $25 is part of a program fundraiser to help make sure that we, again, balance the checkbook, so to speak, and keep marching band going. Hoodies are optional. Those will be available for $50. I strongly recommend them because once we hit October, it gets pretty brutally cold. And being able to show up to a contest with your show hoodie is quite nice. And it gives you a fun keepsake. Students need marching shoes. They can be borrowed or they can be used, or you can buy new ones. But students need the black DTX crossover marching shoe. Brass players and color guard members need gloves specific to their section, and those are listed there. Repair charges due to abuse or neglect. Marching band is very active, and lots of accidents happen here and there. I don't trip out about those. I don't bill for those. But if it could be prevented by some wiser behavior or not horse playing, that's the case where a student might receive a fee for that. The May mini camp is that first part, and then students receive a credit for doing summer band, and then there's a $200 band camp, and then $400 for the final fee. Now that's a total of $700, and it's broken down that way to help us get projections for the season based on who attends mini camp, who attends band camp, and who's in the season. We need this in order to give our design team the time they need to write drill, make music adjustments, etc., so that when we arrive first day of school, we have everything in place. If we don't do this now, we will be months behind in production, both in terms of funding production, but also of knowing what our roster will be. And so that's why the fees are structured this way. It's different than what we've done before, and I realize it may be confusing, but this gives me the best opportunity to prepare us for the season, as well as giving a fair balance for different students. Like I said earlier, if accidents happen, they happen, but like this Powerade bottle up here, that's not an accident. That's not, I slipped and fell and Powerade landed in my saxophone. But other accidents do happen, and we'll take care of those. But let's make sure that we're safe. This is a placeholder for our awesome show reveal. You should be able to find that on YouTube in about 2 hours from the time that I recorded this. But we're going to keep moving. Ooh, 114 minutes. All right. So, a bit of explanation if you went and watched the video. I wanted to write for a high level of performance and to our strengths. This year we have a really gifted percussion section, and I wanted to minimize our costs, and I wanted to really optimize the visual toolkit that Provo High School has. And so, and then the other big one is targeting music that fits music education standards and performance literature. Last year we did Hymn of Axiom, a piece that has become a staple in the marching band performance lit of things. And I want to expose students to these high-level pieces of music that are accessible even at a high school age. Last year we did wonderful with that, and it's a pattern that I'll likely continue going forward of making sure that there are core music education-based pieces within our show, but they're also still having fun. Let's see, let's keep moving. The student access folder. This is a Google Drive that students should all get access to as we get into the season. This is where almost all of our stuff will be. The music. If you lose your paper copy, students will be responsible for getting their own paper copy from the student access folder. Same with the warm-ups. As soon as it's organized, the pet band music will be going in there. Once the drill's written, that's where the drill sheets will go. Judges' tapes, travel itineraries, all the stuff that a student would need for marching band will go into that student access folder. All right, and that's the end of this slideshow presentation. I hope it's useful. I hope you're able to check things out and stay caught up. Again, reminder, please make sure to get the contact information uploaded into this Google form. That's how we're going to stay in touch. Getting ready for mini camp next week, and then summer band, and then band camp. If you have questions, I'm readily available at devenh@provo.edu. That's DEVENH @PROVO.edu. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.